new role, but what's something that shocked you about what you're doing now, in those 15 weeks? I know it's a little bit different because it's not like a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but in those times when you're out there and you're doing it, you're doing those jobs, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what's something that you're doing now that is part of the job that you would have never thought is part of the job, or that kind of shocked you?
Yeah, I guess there's two things. One is just the volume of information. It's hard to know everything about everyone, especially when maybe a player that I'm not as familiar with does really well one day, and then you're like kind of going down the rabbit hole of insert name player, and now I have all these like random fun facts about lots of random people. But just getting a handle on the newness of everything and the sheer volume of information that can be useful in any sort of reporting setting or an interview setting, especially because, as you know, when you talk to somebody in an interview, you want them to feel like you have done your research, you know about them. You're not just some random person talking to them, asking them the same question that they hear every week. So that is something that was much more of a challenge than I ever anticipated. And then just the pace of this lifestyle is quite intense, and just showing up not tired is a feat in itself. And I am somebody that, like, if I don't get 8 hours of sleep, proper meals, I want to do my skincare routine, all of those little creature comforts that make us feel better and like a real human, and that I can show up and really put my best foot forward. That is very hard, especially when you're constantly changing time zones and all these different things are happening. So just finding a way to not just exist, but thrive within those circumstances has been an interesting journey. I have not mastered it. I don't think anyone ever truly does, but that's been an interesting thing.
Making your schedule work for you is something that I feel like people our age is hard to do, even if you work a 9 to 5, let alone working this weird schedules and traveling all over the place like you do. So I know that the people, the live from people who are there, at 4 a.m. like you are,
Yeah.
I'm sure some weeks, that's just insane. And people don't understand the toll that takes on your body too. And not to mention all the stuff that's trying to go through your brain, trying to learn everything you need to know. But what has been your favorite event this year that you covered, since this was your first? I mean, this was kind of the first real season back since COVID, so it was kind of a good year to get going. But what was your favorite event this year, and maybe a memorable moment?
So I think that my favorite, I've probably have amazing moments from every single week that I've done, but something I felt like was most meaningful was I covered the Corn Ferry Tour Championship in Indiana, and the storylines of tracking people who, they live and die with every shot. There's so much on the line. Your life completely changes in 4 rounds of golf. Being able to be a part of that, and like in a really special interview with Justin Lauer, that just, it's one of those moments where you realize how special sports are, and that sports are the best thing in the world and the best show on earth. So to be able to be a part of that was really, really special. And the winner that week was Joseph Bramlett, and I had some, we all doubt ourselves. We all go through these moments of imposter syndrome, and I had some moments leading into that week of like, what am I doing with myself? How did I get here? Am I doing this right? And I remember walking away from that interview with him, the winter interview, with just like so much adrenaline coursing through my system, and it just felt like I was a part of this really special moment for this person that's worked so hard in the whole field. And I was like, you know what? This is what I'm meant to do. It just made me so happy. And I'll never forget walking away from that being, thinking like, this is my path. I love this more than anything.
That's a very pivotal moment, and something that, everybody has that in their life, and some it comes later, some it comes earlier, but it's one of those things where you have to be patient because you don't know when it's going to come. But I can imagine that a lot of your things that you learned in your pageant days, and even maybe in Miss America days, you lean on now, even if it's not golf related. What are some of those skills that you find yourself thinking about on a day-to-day basis, or leaning on in your current role with Golf Channel?
Yeah, I learned so much that year. We could probably do an entire separate podcast on that experience. But just the skill of understanding. So they would always tell you, being Miss America is great, but being Miss America is for others. You're there to provide the Miss America experience to somebody who will probably never meet a Miss America again or has never had that experience, and you make people happy. That's the job of Miss America. So understanding in the interviewer position that it is not about you, it's about them, it's about their moment, it's about allowing them to have this vessel to tell a story, I think it was a really important skill to understand that, this is about creating a special moment for this person's story. I think has been a good lesson for that. I also quite understand the feeling of being under millions of eyeballs and competition and having to do something under pressure in a moment that can change your life. Answering a question on stage in 20 seconds about the state of whatever political issue, and doing it well and winning is very similar to, a 10-foot putt for a big win. And when that changes your life, Miss America completely changed my life. That can be hard. And I don't obviously understand it on the golf level and what they go through every week. That's something I will never understand. But I get the feeling. I can understand the feeling for sure.
Yeah, no, that's great insight. And I can only imagine that year, because it's 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crown Miss America, and then you go on this like world tour. Again, we can talk about this another time.
Yeah, yeah. You go on a world tour. You're in a different city every 2 days. You travel 20,000 miles a month. I went around the world with the USO. I went to like hundreds of children's hospitals and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, it's intense.
Yeah. So our girl knows the best luggage out there. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I've been through lots of luggage recently. I actually don't know that I've found. I'm going with Club Glove is my next, I'm going with their luggage, not just the golf bag. So we'll see how that goes.
My parents have that, and they have the ones that all clip together, so it can be like one giant train. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I see a lot of the golfers doing that. Joel Damon saw me trying to drag a really not great golf bag through the airport one time because you see everybody at all the same stops, and he just looked at me and shook his head, and he goes, "You need to get this." So I'm gonna up my game.
Wheels, right? The one with the little stand.
No, he doesn't have the stand. He has the Club Glove all train clipped together. So
it's so good. Anything that takes they're so heavy. And I remember doing it in college. It rips your hands apart. The worst. Mm-hmm. A couple things just about kind of this week in golf, and then I want to get back to some rapid fire questions because those are the best. Okay. But let's talk about, and I'm not asking for your opinions because I know you're kind of bound to what, opinions you can have and what's not. But let's talk about just what's the buzz on tour with. Let's start first with the PGL, the Greg Norman, the Saudi tour, the Asian tour. I'm so confused. I have no idea what's even going on with all of that now. But the most recent news, Greg Norman is now a part of the Saudi-backed Asian tour. Have you heard anything about this? What are the players saying? Reactions? Kind of what's the buzz?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of buzz around it. A lot of, like you said, confusion. To be fully honest, I don't actually exactly know what the state of all of that is or looks like, and I haven't been out for about 3 weeks. So that's while this has been kind of reaching this next crescendo. But I am very interested to see how it plays out and what reactions will happen. But yeah, I think it's a wild time just for professional sports and this changing landscape of how everything develops, how TV things develop, how are we consuming this content? So I think no matter what happens, this will have implications down the line for how we view the golf product. That's certainly something that has shown itself to be true, that we've already seen plenty of changes in the golf, I guess, universe. But I'll have to get back to you on this, Sam, when I actually get back out on tour and get to talk to some people.
I'm sure, yeah.
News.
I'm sure the RSM, it'll still be a hot topic. It just kind of shocks, we've been talking about it all week. It just kind of shocks everybody we've had on the podcast this week that Greg Norman is obviously a very successful businessman, and it just seems like a weird move for him, but we don't have to get into that. But the last thing I want to talk about on the news front is the green books. Have you read up on that and kind of the ban on that? What's up with that?
I love it. I think it's great, personally. And, I don't know, anything that requires a little bit more skill and tests a different part of the game and speeds it up, I'm all about that. So I think it's great. I've heard a lot of positive feedback from people, so I'm all in on that. Also, I'm horrible at reading greens, so maybe I should work on that.
I would imagine that the people who are against it are probably those who are using it too much and taking up too much time. That would be the general consensus I would have.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. So, I guess, like I said earlier, like I don't understand exactly like to what extent those things come into play for a professional golfer. But as a consumer of golf, I want to see people play quickly and be able to like look at a green and just that's that skill. That's really impressive.
Yeah, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, but and this is a different note, I'm all in favor of them setting up courses harder. I think this 20 and 30 under par, I mean, come on. Like, I want to see them struggle. I think they're the best in the world. They should be challenged. And I think this kind of goes along with that. Give them a little bit less, let them work a little bit harder. They can't just rely on a book when they step up to the golf course to tell them which way the greens go. Like, let them actually have to sit there and study them and maybe take their own notes. And I know they do. Yeah. I'm all in favor of making it a little bit more difficult on, they're the best in the world. So I think they should have to prove it every now and then.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, I love a good birdie fest just like everybody else. I love to see them tear apart some of these properties. But yeah, I agree. I anything that can challenge it or even present it in a different way. We see a lot of 72-hole stroke play format, like anything that can ever give a little bit of extra glitter. Your girl loves some glitter and sparkle in her life. So anything that can do that, I'm all for that.
I love it. Well, the last few questions I wanted to ask were somewhere rapid fire. So just say the first thing that comes to your mind. The funniest person you've ever interviewed. Surprisingly funny. Like, we all know Max Homa, Joel, we all know they're funny, but like somebody who surprised you who was funny.
Tyrrell Hatton.
Okay.
He's got that British. Oh, sorry. Am I not supposed to talk?
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I was just saying, he's got that British dry humor. And every time I talk to him, he just says this line. And I'm like, who are you? But like in the best way. It's like, you wouldn't expect him to just come out with these zingers.
And then some of these are job related. Some of them are not. Your best golf tip for the weekend golfer.
You're not playing millions of dollars, so relax and have fun.
There you go. The top 3 players you would want to interview right now that you would feel the most comfortable with.
I would feel the most comfortable with. Rory McIlroy.
Preparation, like you're comfortable with them.
Yeah, probably Rory, Max Homa, and Will Zalatoris.
Okay. Who or what motivates you?
Oh my gosh, this is such a deep question, Sam. I think I'm very motivated by my personal goals and kicking ass and like things that make me happy. But also I think my family, this is a much deeper thing, but my family are Russian immigrants. I have this incredible life because they have been through so much and moved to America and given me these opportunities. So I'm very motivated by them and taking advantage of every gift and opportunity I get by living here. So I don't know if that's a bit of a corny answer, but that's a big motivator.
The nicest tour member you've ever met when you just met them for the first time. They were the nicest person that you've ever met.
Probably Peter Malnati.
Really?
Yeah. It's just so nice.
That is like, you could have given me 20 guesses and I would have never picked his name out of a hat. Not because I think he's mean. I just would have never thought of that.
I mean, he has the Kind Bar sponsorship.
Okay.
He's kind. I don't know what to tell you.
So he's contractually kind, though.
Yeah, but I think that it's from a very genuine place. You don't just get Kind to sponsor you, okay?
Okay. That was pushing it a little bit. Three words to best describe you as a person.
Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. That's good. 3 words.
No.
Let's see. Intense, motivated, and fun.
Okay. 3 words to best describe your golf game.
Troublesome, streaky, and disappointing.
Disappointing. No, you can't talk to yourself like that. You just told people to have fun.
I know, but it is what it is. It's my reality. I still have fun, but
okay, that's fair. If you weren't doing this job, what would you be doing?
Well, before this job, I was doing a lot of entertainment reporting, so maybe I would have stayed in entertainment.
Okay.
Also, I was going to be a lawyer before Miss America. I like paid a deposit at law school, so maybe that.
Oh wow, lawyer Kira. I kind of like that.
I feel like it would have been good.
I feel like you could have rocked a mean pantsuit.
I could have been like Elwood's for sure.
Yeah, the dog and all.
Yeah, I don't know about the Chihuahua, but definitely like the ammonium cycloxylate scene from the courtroom.
For sure.
I got that.
Number 1 passion that's not golf related.
Food, charcuterie specifically.
Charcuterie, yes. Love that. Okay, and then the best advice you were ever told. This is a second to last question.
It's really hard work to not be yourself. It's really hard. So just do good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then your top 3 favorite courses you've ever been to or played. Doesn't matter, either one.
Cypress Point, Pebble Beach, and Riv.
So all 3 like right there. You could pick one from like somewhere else.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that seems unfair.
I've never been. I probably would say like something in Scotland and Ireland. I've never been or played, so I can't say that. I've never been to Augusta, so I can't say that. And these are I am like emotionally attached to these places. So
that's fair. That's fair.
It is what it is.
And I would say my last question as a follow-up to that is your most memorable golf shot to this day is what?
My most memorable golf shot. Okay, so one of my first ever golf jobs ever was working Tiger Jam, which is Tiger's annual Las Vegas fundraising thing. And it was, I was hosting, I was like the digital host. And I got to Shadow Creek and Tiger was there doing a clinic with some folks. And I got to meet him for the first time and he asked me if I played golf. I said, yes. He goes, okay, let's see it. And he handed me his club and I had a small panic attack and I hit it. I actually hit a good chip. I didn't skull it. And he was like, okay, yeah, that was great. And like said something nice and like walked off. And I was like, okay. So that's probably the most memorable golf shot I've ever had.
That is by far the best answer of anybody who's ever answered that question. Yes. And it was with his club too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was great.
That's maybe the best part of that story. Yeah. But that's pretty much it, Kara. Thank you so much for joining us. I just wanted to kind of run down what's been going on with you, hit some hot topics.
Yeah.
But eventually we should do a Miss America pod because I, for one, am curious. I don't know that all the old men who listen to this are curious.
I don't know. I mean, I think that they would be really into hearing about how this happens. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. It's the most bizarre, weird little thing in the world, but it's made me who I am.
It is, and I would love to hear more about it. But I hope that you have a great weekend, and we will see you in 2 weeks for the RSM?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Kara. We'll see you on TV in 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
See ya.